slapping the sound guy in the face with my dink, and there's all kinds of things. Yeah, that happened. When you've got like parking lot attendants proud to work on Battlestar Galactica, because most of the time crew people are just like, yeah, I'm working on doing this show, but there was this pride in, I'm doing Battlestar Galactica, and from the craft service people to the grips to the camera guys, everybody knew they were making something special, so they all gave it just that little bit extra, and it shows in the work, and just the timeless nature of the writing. Like Ron talked about at the panel, is we were one of the first shows to be serialized, just breaking through that episodic barrier, and that is much more interesting because it feels like you're watching like a 90-hour movie instead of these little jump-ins, episodic stuff. So I think that all that sort of cobbled together makes the show timeless, really. There's great moments of hilarity and fun, and I've got stories of Eddie being a maniac and me slapping the sound guy in the face with my dink, and there's all kinds of things. Yeah, that happened. But I think I'd have to go to the first time I worked with Mary at the end of the Dirty Hands episode, and it was the first time that we got to actually sit down and talk to each other. She looks right through you, down through your eyes, through your soul, and just jumbles up your insides. She's the best actor I've ever worked with, bar none. And it was like 4.5, 5 hours of just her and I talking while all the crew, meanders around, and we have that drink at that end of that episode. And she's just so present and so powerful, and yeah, it was a master acting class in 4 hours of one day in the middle of the fall. I'll never forget that, and I thank her every time I see her for it, because it was. This is how a true artist works.
For me, the scene which I thought was also quite significant was the rape scene.
Yeah.
And that scene was very specifically written where there was no penetration. Like they were really adamant about that, and I was like, yeah, it's fine, we'll shoot whatever. But I'd watched like an intense movie just before, like to prepare for that. Literally like minutes before we went to go shoot. It was Michael Reimer, who's our producing director. It's Battlestar Galactica, so it's like, yeah, we're gonna shoot it. So we ended up shooting it and then taking it out in the edits, and there's this different electric, dense energy, and it's totally charged in a different way when you know you're going to shoot it, versus like, oh, we're going to shoot it, but it's like, ooh, but we all know it's going to stop before that, and so I felt like that was also really important. And originally I was fine with whatever they're going to do, but the back and forth, and sure, you can understand, but this is something that happens tragically so often in the world. Probably a number of times per second, but I don't have the exact figures on me. I used to know them, or every few seconds anyway. Not necessarily exactly like that, but it is something that's so prevalent with, roughly, we have 50% of the world, 50-51, that are women. So these issues are really important, and like they might not be normal TV, but aren't we doing so many remakes and superhero? Like, why don't we do something else that actually matters? And like, what would we be saying, and what would come out of that? We have a lot of stories still to tell.